So I wanted to make this video to just kind of share with you the process that I went through, because I never want anyone to think that I was just able to go to the dealership, say this is the car I wanted, and I got it. It took patience, fasting, prayer. Fasting is whenever you abstain from food, and some people these days, they do like social media or maybe coffee if that's what you're doing. Just basically sacrificing something that you love in order to hear God's voice more clearly. So usually I fast when I have a big decision to make, or when I need to hear God out on something, or when it's something that my heart desires, to see if this is the same thing that God desires. Really, how I got my car is by fasting. So I grew up in a church. My mom would always fast. We would do fasts as a church, we would do fast as a family, and basically how I learned to fast was basically like giving God a deadline. So okay, we're gonna do this 7-day fast, and I was just like not eating breakfast because my mama told me not to do it. You know, I never really understood what fasting truly was until a few years ago. And I also learned that we cannot put God on a deadline, because so many times I'll be like, okay, I'm going on this 2-week fast, and at the end of this 2 weeks, God, you're gonna tell me what it is that I need to know. And sometimes I would get that answer, sometimes I wouldn't. I don't know. So it wasn't until I started going to the church I attend now, which is Higher Dimension Church. Shout out to Pastor Jay. It wasn't until then when I really began to cultivate my relationship with God, and I learned that I can't put a time limit on fasting. So I might have the intent like, okay, I'm gonna fast for a week, but what happens when you don't have the answer after a week? You keep fasting. You fast until God has given you that answer. So for those of you that know me, I have been needing a new car for a very long time. The car that I got, I saw it for the first time. I was actually leaving my apartment and it was driving, and I was just like, I need that. I had never seen this car before, and I was just like, that's my car. Like, I need it. It was the Volvo XC40. It was all black, chromed out, nice rims, and I never saw that car again. So I get on Google, because you know, Volvo, like, that's for like old people, you know. I've never seen a cute Volvo before that I would want to drive. I'm Googling like Volvo SUV, and finally it comes up XC40. So I'm typing, I'm researching, I'm looking into the car, how much it is. I was nowhere near being financially prepared to get a new car, but I know that I wanted one. So I was like, okay, well, within the next year or so, I'll just save and then I'll see. Well, I think the car might have been, they had just came out. It was a 2019 and it was 2018. So I think the car might have been like $36,000 or $37,000. I don't know. And I was like, whoo, okay. So I just kind of threw that out the window. Fast forward, it got to a point to where like every single month, something was wrong with my car. It was the battery, it was the alternator, brakes went out, stuff in my car stopped working. Like, I would lift up my trunk and like the shocks in the trunk, it broke, so I couldn't just open up my trunk and it stay up. I had to like hold it. So I'd be getting groceries like holding the trunk with my head, trying to get stuff out. My hazards didn't work. Some of the doors didn't lock. Like, you know, and some people are like, you know, as long as you have a car that gets you from point A to point B, that's fine. And that might be fine to some of you. However, not for me. I don't want to have to call my dad every single week like, Daddy, I need you to come get me. Daddy, something's wrong with my car, because he knows something's wrong with my car. Daddy, I need you. I just got to the point where I was sick of dealing with it. In my head, I was like, okay, well, how am I going to pay rent, because I'm living by myself, and pay a car note? At this point, it's like one or the other. And so I'm praying about it, and I'm like, God, just please give me this Volvo. No, I was writing it down. Y'all, when 2019 hit, I put new car on my vision board. At that time, I couldn't find pictures of that car, but I just printed out, like, I think a picture of a Jeep or something, and on the back I wrote new car. And in my mind, I knew I wanted the Volvo, but since I didn't have the picture, I just put the picture of the Jeep. This whole time, I'm not knowing that God is setting me up to move back home. So in October, I found a mouse in my apartment. And if you know me, I don't do creepy crawlers, critters, anything that slither, slime, fly. If it's meant to live outside, I'm not doing it. So when I saw that mouse, that was a done deal for me. I'm moving out. What are you saying? New Year's comes, and with Connect Group, we made vision boards. And this time I was like, okay, I need to be more specific. So as I continue doing research on the car, I realized that it's 3 different body styles of this car. So they have the Momentum, which is like bottom of the line. That's the one that was like in the 30s. They have the R design. It's between 45 and maybe 49. And then they have the Inscription, which can be anywhere from 50,000 plus. These are all XC40s, just different lines of the car. I found out that the car that I wanted, with the white at the bottom and the black at the top, it only comes in the R design, which is $45,000. I'm not paying $45,000 for a car. You know, I'm a teacher. I was like, okay, Jackie, well, you're gonna have to bring it back down, sis. And you can still get the car, but you're gonna be in the Momentum for $30,000. I just started praying. I wrote down, I want a Volvo XC40 for $35,000 with all the packages. I was taught to pray very specific prayers. Somebody told me one time, you pray for a job and that's what you're gonna get. And that might be sweeping floors, that might be cleaning toilets, but you pray for a job and that's what you got. And they told me, like, you know, when you pray for a job, you say, Lord, I want a job where I can praise with my coworkers, where my coworkers will be like family. I'll have great benefits, I'll have great supervisors, etc., etc. So since then, Lord, very specific to the T. So now this is the second vision board that I have put this car on. I started fasting. So I was just honestly fasting because I knew it was something I was supposed to do. And when I started fasting in January, you know how you just going through the motions? It was one of those. And when I fast, whatever I'm giving up, every time I have that craving, that's when I feel that craving with Jesus. So whether it be I go into prayer, I listen to a sermon, praise and worship, or I'm just sitting in his presence, that's what I do. This particular fast, I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I would pray in the morning, I would listen to a sermon, but I was just like, I'm gonna just try again. So I really had to pray and ask my Connect group to help me, to pray me through the spiritual wall that I had up, and thank God for them. So in February, I decided, okay, now I'm about to get serious. It was me and some of my line sisters. We actually went on a 21-day fast in February. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm fasting for this car, that it won't be a financial burden, $35,000 or less. I got you, you got me, let's go. I'm ready to do this. So what I did, I gave up breakfast. That's my favorite meal. And I gave up social media. I had already been off of social media since January, but I decided that I was going to continue that. But I just could not eat until 10:30. Mind you, I wake up at 4:30 a.m. So this was a struggle. And no social media, no Facebook, no Twitter, no Snapchat, no TikTok, no Instagram, none of it. In this time, I had a note in my phone, and every morning when I would wake up, I would pray that prayer, and the card was in there. February 20th hit. Me and my mom and my aunt, we went to the car dealership. So I'm like, okay, it's the 20th, like, Lord, you are good, you finna get me this car. I was lit. We go to the dealership. They didn't have the car in the color that I wanted. They didn't have any R designs. They only had Momentums. I was like, okay, well, I'll look, you know. And I looked at the Momentums, and I found one that I really liked, and it was all black. It was like still real icy, y'all. Like, it was all black. It had the blonde leather interior, nice rims. It had all the packages I wanted, and you know, it was going real good. And then we got to the part where we started talking numbers, and he was like, oh, this is $43,000. You want me to pay $43,000 for a car that's $30,000 on the internet and everywhere else? Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Picked up the keys. Me and my mom left. I continued to search this car online in different dealerships in Houston. I found the same exact car, black, all the packages, nice rims, everything in the Heights. I was like, okay, this time let me let my dad go with me, because maybe they, you know, acted like that with me and my mom because we're women. Me and my dad go and look at the car. I really like it. He likes it, you know, got the dad's approval. So we start talking numbers, and this one, I think it was 34 or 35,000, and I was like, y'all, this is my car. Like, this is it. This is the one. We set up an appointment to go in there, and I should have known. This is when I should have known. We set up an appointment to go in there to after we initially looked at the car. It was a Friday. That Monday we were supposed to go back in and actually start the buying process. And he was like, yeah, my manager will be here on Monday. Just come in before 4. That's when he leaves. Everything will be great. I get there, the manager isn't there. Right then and there, that's when I should have known something was off. But I wanted this car so bad. So he's like, well, you can just come in tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. So the next day he sends me the buyer's order, and I'm ready to put my money down. And you know, my dad talked to him, and he was like, you know, so what is the bottom line price? The man was like, the bottom line price is $37,000. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just put $2,000 down, and then I'll finance the rest at $35,000. And boom, God answered my prayers. It's done. And he was like, okay, cool, you know. So the next day he sends me over the buyer's order through email, and I'm looking at it. We're on the phone while I'm looking at it. I was like, sir, this says $39,000. And he was like, yeah, because that's taxes. And I was like, well, yesterday when we were in there, my dad asked you, I know, at least 4 times if 37 was the bottom line price, and you told him yes. And he was like, no, I didn't say that. And I was like, no, you said that. Basically, him and his manager, they just became very rude to me. I'm not understanding where everything got switched in a matter of 12 or so hours. And his boss was like, well, I'm not understanding what you're not understanding. You're a teacher, so you should get it. I was like, sir, you are not going to patronize me. And they basically, no, they told me verbatim, you can either come up with another $2,000 or we don't need to sell, because I'm not changing the price, and it is what it is. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. I'll keep my little money, because the thing is, I could have come up with the other $2,000, but when you're treating your customers like that, when things aren't going your way, that says more about you, y'all. I was pissed. Like, I'm talking like, you know, when you so mad you want to fight, so you just cry because you can't, you know, you can't do nothing about it. Like, that's where I was. Like, I was crying because I'm like, you know, I've been wanting this car since 2018, and to be this close and then it just gets snatched away, I was very frustrated. But shout out to my friends. A few friends happened to just randomly hit me up that day and gave me some very encouraging words. But I also had a couple of friends that upset me because they were like, you know, well, it's not that big of a deal, it's just a car. But I'm like, you know, you don't know what I've been doing to get this car. I go back to square one. So I'm on the internet and I come across this Volvo that has just the colors I want: white at the bottom, black at the top. And so at first I wasn't gonna email because I was like, I already know I can't afford the R design. It's $40-something thousand and I have a budget. Well, God was like, just email the people, girl. So I emailed for the quote. Water quote came back and the car was $35,000. Y'all, I was like, I contacted the dealership and I was like, yes, I just wanted to inquire about this car. And shout out to you, Alexis, because you helped me out so much. You know, she made the process very easy. It was just a totally different experience dealing with this. I got help from another dealer named Tyler, Susan, Mr. Joey. All of y'all are just amazing. I don't even think y'all understand how simple and how much easier y'all made this car buying process, because I am a first-time car buyer, so it's a lot of stuff that I wasn't educated on per se, and just I didn't know that it took all of that to buy a car. And they were very patient, they were very pleasant, and I thank God for y'all. Here's the twist: the car dealership is in Marietta, Georgia. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, I live in Houston, Texas, so I can't go in there. I can't like test drive the car. I just gotta hope and pray that it look exactly how it is on the website and everything is accurate. March 31st, I got the contract, I signed it and shipped it back. So April 3rd, my car was leaving the dealership and I had to get it shipped here. Why on April 5th, I get a call from the dealer saying that the axle on his trailer broke. It was raining that day. It was just a lot. So I'm like, Lord, I knew something was gonna happen. I'm not finna get this car either. I couldn't really talk to anyone about it because God told me, like, just stop talking. Like, just allow me to do my work. So like, I'm just in my room while I'm quarantining, frustrated because, you know, I had a mini moment where I lost faith, and you know, God was like, he had to remind me, like, girl, do you know who I am? Well, I ended up getting the car Monday. That's when it came, on Monday. And, you know, it was just, God just really lined all these people up, because I'm just grateful that I was able to find this car and it was in my budget. I was never supposed to get this car. I was never supposed to be able to afford this car, but baby, let me tell you about my God and how favor not fair. This is a $45,000 car I got for $35,000. Where they do that at? Only my God. And that just goes to show you, like, write down, tell God exactly what you want, and if it's in his will, he will give it to you exactly how you asked. And don't settle for a duplicate, because guess what? I was going to settle. I said I wanted the black top with the white bottom. I was gonna get all black and be just fine. I thank God that those people were rude to me. I thank God that at the first dealership that car was $43,000, because I wouldn't have been able to find the car that's sitting in my driveway right now. She is, I don't know if it's a she or he, I need to come up with a name, but the car is beautiful. It's everything I ever wanted, I would have imagined. I love it, and I'm so blessed, and this was truly a humbling process. God really taught me about patience, and he really taught me about faith, because that day I was like, forget it, I'm not getting a car. I'm gonna just keep driving my other car. Like, I'm good, I'm done. And I just wanted to make this video because a lot of times when you see things posted on social media, you don't know the story. It's so much comparison and jealousy on social media, which is why I chose to even stay away from it. But God told me somebody needed to see this video, and somebody needed to know that it's a process. And what you see on social media is just a snippet or just a finished product. Because had I just posted a picture of my car, it would have been like, oh, okay, well, she got the car. But some people need to know the story behind things, and I pray that I can be an encouragement to someone. Y'all, I've been waiting on that car since 2018. It is 2020. That's a long time. I just say that to say, don't be discouraged. You're going to get that position at your job. You're going to find that spouse. That business is going to kick off, and whatever else your heart desires. That person that's looking for a car that's watching this right now, you are going to get that car. You just have to be patient and show God that you trust him, and most importantly, do not give up. If you fail, it's okay. Try again, you know, but God is faithful. He always is, and he always comes right on time. But I just pray that I can be an encouragement to whoever is watching this video, and just stay up and y'all stay safe. Thanks for listening.